Wow. 10 years. 10 long years. And we're back. What's going on, guys? Oh, God. My throat picked the wrong time to interrupt my intro. God damn it. But what's up, guys? It's your boy Thriller here. And just a little segment right there. Yes. Not 100% 10 years yet, but we're not going to realistically be, unless we're doing another Gen 7 league around November, which I highly doubt that. I don't know if it's going to be happening in that time frame, but who knows. But yes, roughly 10 years in the draft league scene. We are back at the format I started in. And wow. To to really think that around 10 years I started draft league and I've made it to where I am today is incredible. And yeah, this is really special for me, man. This is a very special league for me. So I'm just hoping to have some fun. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, if I can and if I will try, I low key really want to win this league because this is the generation that brought me into the draft league scene. Even though I was watching the Gen 6, aka RS Gen 6, as just to specify, and then into Gen 7. Um, I really would love to win on like a 10-year anniversary of this. So, we are here for the JJDL's Season 1 Tangrowth Division, even though this is technically JJDL Season 6. Because, yeah, Season 6, season 4 was Civil Wars, and the last season was the one where we had Terra King Gambit. And by the way, we actually were robbed. We actually could have made playoffs if we had higher differential. So funny enough, if we had actually played for differential, we could have possibly made playoffs. So yeah, unfortunate. But anyways, we're back. We're here in Gen 7, where Z moves are allowed, and I'm not really looking forward to that. I will go over the rules real quick, as we will always do. But if you guys are excited for a Gen 7 draft league and ready for the 10-year return to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join the crew today because you'll be thrilling with the king and the crew. We are on the road to 200 subs before the end of the year. If you guys can, please, and very much so, help us get to that goal. I greatly appreciate you. And if we don't, I want you guys to at least enjoy this video and have a good time. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, this draft analysis might be a little longer because of the intro and stuff like that, but I feel like you guys have got to see some of the funness, you got to see the enjoyment, and more importantly, we got to get hype for Gen 7 Draft League to come back, at least for a season. Don't know if it's guaranteed coming back for JDL 100%. Kind of depends on time frame and stuff like that. But I'm super excited to be a part of this. Obviously, John, being my good friend, told me I get priority in any league I want because of how much of a supporter I've been on his channel and stuff. So I told him I wanted to be Gen 7. He was like, boom, our first applicant, me. So I thought he would have been nice and give me the first pick then. But no, I got shafted real hard. I got pick 13. Or I got, no, I got pick 12. I got pick 12. So I was at the I literally was on the bottom half, top of the bottom half. I wasn't in the middle. I was just outside of like the middle area of the draft. So it was still a really shitty spot because I got sniped on everything. Like literally 5 picks before me and going down, I got sniped on Mega Gallade, Zygarde, and Mega Charizard X. Mega Gallade was my first choice because I wanted my first major championship, which you guys have heard me tell the story that I don't really count my first championship. I'm actually more so kind of ashamed of my first championship because it was basically a freebie one. But the first one that I felt like I properly won, which was my second one, but it's treated like my first, I originally had a Mega Scissor on the roster when I first took over a team. I was allowed to make a change before the draft could continue, and I changed it to Mega Gallade, and it was because of that change I won the league with Mega Gallade. So I really wanted a full circle moment with Mega Gallade, but no, I don't remember who sniped it from me. I can't remember. Others I would have said something. But then then my backup Mega was Mega Charizard, and if I didn't get Megazard and Zygarde came to me, I would have debated between the both. But then I believe Mega Charizard got taken. So then I was like, okay, then I'll go Zygarde, and then I think I'll pick or two before me Zygarde gets taken. So I lost everything I wanted, and now there was some good stuff still in the 7 point tier, 17 point tier, which could have been Terra Zmons and stuff like that. And I honestly didn't really want to get anything there. Also, Zeraora was gone, but I was expecting Zeraora to go before me. Coco was the first overall pick, which is like not a surprising pick. So I really wanted to get myself something of good value. It's still worth around, excuse me, still worth around one pick. And that was something in 16 that I saw that I do use. In my opinion, I think I use very well. And I'm super excited to use again because you guys remember back in NBA when we made transactions and somehow was able to get this thing in the transactions for the Gen 6 League and then proceeded to do very well with this Mon. It is our boy Vmon, which we're going to name after my boy John Jr. because he has a mouse cursor named Vmon. He names his Victinis this. So, in honor of John, in the honor of 10-year anniversary of the Draft League scene, and obviously since John started, I think John started in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I think, possibly. I don't remember off the top of my head. I figured, you know what, a really fitting name for all of us together. Let's name it after Victini. Let's name it Vmon, an iconic name. Victini is a fantastic Pokemon. Amazing coverage across the board. I do believe I have this. It's just a dude. I have it as Gen 7 draft. That way you guys can see all the moves. Also, you see all the moves that Victini has in its arsenal. But one of the biggest things that's coming back is this and this. These are the two main moves we're going to have to make sure we remember because it's going to be one of the things that's going to be really, really gonna get to us if we don't remember all the time with. But we also do need to remember that some of the moves that we do have now are gone. Some things like Signal Beam are also back, so Signal Beam coverage is back for some Pokemon, which is really important here. But as you can see with the moves, I'm just gonna go scroll down here. I'm not gonna really talk about too much. Um, Victini is a fantastic Pokemon. Victini has so much coverage around its arsenal. It's really good. It's very creative mon. You can do a lot of things with it. It has so much versatility in terms of what it can do. In overall, very good, fantastic Pokemon. Now, before I get into anything else, let's talk about the rules real quick. As I said, I was going to do that before I started the draft. The rules were we had 110 points. We could draft up to 9 to 11 Pokemon, and we were allowed two Z captains. But instead of doing points, we are taking a risk, and we are letting any two Mons Z. However, you are not allowed to Omni Boost your Z move. So basically, something like Celebrate, which you guys do not know. Z Celebrate, I believe, gives you an Omni Boost to all of your stats at +1. So we are not allowed to run Celebrate. But if you are running something like Z Sunny Day, which gives you a +1 speed boost and sets up Sun, that is going to be allowed because it's not an Omni boost, it is a single boost. So just to kind of give you guys an idea. And as you can tell by why I said Z Sunny Day, is because our first Z captain as well is going to be Victini. Now I ultimately decided how I wanted to decide my Z captains was based on my roster. I had pretty much about three-ish to four-ish candidates. I had this, so this was our first one, and I felt like I've seen Victini run Z before. Victini with Z is very, very good. Victini is a very strong Mon with Z. Like, if I want to run a Z V trade and not worry about dropping my stats for one move, I can just drop a Z nuke on somebody with that, and just be able to do so well with it. Or if I want to go with like a Z like Blue Flare, Fire Blast, just be a special nuke, it's really good. Victini, I think overall, even though there were things like there was like Torrentee with Z that could have been good, Mega Scizor, Latios. I personally felt really happy and felt like Victini, personally for me, in terms of Mons, was the best Mon on the board. Now, was the best Z captain at the board at the time? Arguably, it wasn't. Torn was kind of right there potentially, but I still like this Pokemon for what it offered, and I think it's still a fantastic Mon. I think it was a fantastic way to start off our round. Now, in the second round, I really needed to, because the way I have to look at my draft is I have to go for the best value I can get for a Pokemon. Now, in the second round, you want to get a good value in a fairy type, because fairies are the most important typing from Gen 6 to Gen 7. Fairies are indeed 100% the most important typing to get in this gen. And I was very happy and surprised a little bit that this still was on the board, which made it back to me. And it's a Pokemon I have used before, and it's a Pokemon that I feel like I maybe don't use a lot well, and maybe just kind of was indifferent with it potentially, but I'm ready to give it another go around, and that's gonna be Goddess the Tapu Fini, and I am super excited for this because Tapu Fini is a Pokemon that really has the good value in support and being bulky setup. Also, would have a very good speed tier of 85, which can take advantage of that really well. And just again, there's a good amount of offensive capabilities with Fini as well. Fini can just be made to be a tank. It can literally do everything else there. And what's really good about Fini is been setting up that Misty Surge. As long as the Misty Surge is up, you cannot Toxic me. Now, unfortunately, and I thanks to Shady Penguin when we watched WBE when he did his season, when T spikes are up before Finny comes in, Finny actually will get poisoned before the surge goes up. So that was very good to know that. So I now know that. And so if anyone had already had that plan, guess what? I already got you figured out. But Finny's a really good wall. It's very good mon here. Access to things like Calm Mind is really good. I believe it got access to Draining Kiss in Gen 9 with the National Dex or Gen 8. I think it was one of the two. But as you can see, it did lose Draining Kiss, which is very unfortunate for us there. But this is a Pokemon that has good versatility in terms of its defensive capability. Things like, obviously, with Nature's Madness, being also another Toxicer. It also can be a Taunter to stop slow mons to be able to setting hazards or setting up bulkily. Gravity options, which is really good, so we can be able to not miss our attacks if we really wanted to. But just overall, a very good Pokemon, man. It's a very strong Mon, but it's also very good defensively. It's gonna be meant to be more of like a defensive setup mon, if not potentially something else. But overall, I feel really good about Tapu Fini. I think it's overall strong mon here for our roster, and it's gonna be a great mon, dude. I'm so looking forward to using this thing again. It's gonna be really nice. But with our next pick, I needed to get so I went many picks, and then it came back to me. So now I just got my fire, I've got my water. I can get my grass at some point down the line. I now gotta get a good dragon because dragons are starting to go off the shelf like it's Toys R Us. So I was really thinking to myself, what is a good dragon type Pokemon to pick up here? Now there was options here. Haxorus was still on the board, which I am a massive fan of Haxorus, but I felt like I wanted a dragon that was a little bit more versatility and a little bit more different of a mon that I could use for. And also, I was kind of trying to draft stuff I have some familiarity with. Also, some mons I never used in Gen 7. So I'm really excited for this pick. Also, the main reason I also dropped Fini was option for Defog. But this next pick actually does have Defog and is a very decently good, viable Defog user along with Fini. So hazard gain is no longer going to be an issue for me. So if you try to set up hazards, good luck. But with my third pick, I went with the dragon and went with somebody's personal favorite. And I know it's going to trigger him if I don't do this. So we got my boy OGL Bina the Salamence, and Salamence is really freaking strong now. Obviously, it is a Pokemon that shares its speed stat with Victini, but I think that's honestly not the worst thing for us. And I'll tell you why. I don't think it's a worst thing because there are a lot of variations of Mence that go across the thing, and arguably you could say the same thing about Victini. Like Mence, if it wants to be bulky, it's not going to be running speed. If any speed it runs is running non-invested speed to make sure it's outspeeding the bulk of teams so we could be able to take those things on more effectively. But the bulk of men's is actually more reliable than you think. Yes, 80 and Fit's defenses are not that great, but you kind of sleep on the fact that with Intimidate, this mon, it becomes very hard to switch into. And because also a mon that it's very hard to deal with and if you can't just be able to break it down. But also, if you just sleep on the fact that this is a Moxie Sweeper as well, it is very dangerous Pokemon. Now, obviously, Heavy Duty Boots does not exist in this generation anymore, so big thing to keep that in mind as well with this one. But the big thing that's also a big upgrade for us here is that look at that Roost PP. 16, baby. 16 comes back to us here. Also, I did not realize this thing learns Snow Edge. It still amazes me this thing learns Wish, by the way. But yeah, a Salamence I felt was like the best dragon on the board. There probably was arguably some dragons better. I know Kamal was still on the board. And here's the thing. I've used Kamal before and I liked it. It definitely did me really well. But I don't know. I felt like Salamence was more of the Funnermon. I also wanted a good flying type because I think flying types are very good in this generation. With only the one week, with having some weaknesses here and there, we can patch those up. Like I feel like with like right here, I get my dragon weakness, an ice weakness. I have two mons that cover ice, and my next pick covers ice. Dragon, boom. My previous pick and my next pick covers dragon. So it's like I'm pretty chilling. Rock is the only thing that's a little concerning at the moment, but we do patch up some things to kind of get rid of the rock weakness there. But overall, Salamence is a great mon, and became my second. That was the wrong thing. I clicked. I was supposed to click that. It became my second Terra captain. Now, I think a lot of people. This was my debate here. So I have two other mons on my team that will. We have a few other mons on my team, which I'll discuss as we get to them that were candidate for zero targets. But I think if you look at my team, I think arguably the best two Z users were my Salamence and my Victini, just because the versatility of Victini can go from having Z Sunny Day to make sure it outspeeds stuff without having the Scarf is really great. So you can switch up moves, and you have boosted stun attacks, which is really great. But with Salamence, you get a super strong flying stab because obviously with being Gen 7, it lost access to Hurricane, which was good special coverage for it. But now with this generation, you could run Z Fly for supersonic sky strikes and be able to go from there. So I felt like this was a really good mon to pair off with Z really well. And I just don't really think it's super strong, man. I'm really excited to use Salamence in this type of a format. So now came my fourth round, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, steel types were going. Now there were still some decent steals like Fortress, Steelix, and just some low budget things. Even Mega Aggron was still on the board, which was actually a little surprising because Mega Aggron is one of the best value Mega tanks to have in a generation like this. And I really debated this, but I'm going to tell you right now, this pick was insanely early. I understand that, but we actually sniped someone of this pick. It probably wasn't their next pick, but it was gonna probably be their round five pick potentially, or it was on like their draft plan to pick up. I wanted this Pokemon strictly for one reason and one reason only. I love using this Pokemon. I know how to use this Pokemon, and I can sweep you with this Pokemon if you want to be disrespectful. That Pokemon is Baby Love Shack, Baby Love Shack, my stack attacker, baby. Oh, I'm so excited to finally have this guy back. I am so pumped to have Stack Attacker back, man. If you guys don't have never seen me use this thing or don't know why I'm so pumped for this. This Pokemon is one of my all-time favorite Ultra Beasts in Draft League. Design-wise, he's not really up there. Really, he's kind of simple with his design and everything. But in terms of competitive, he is so freaking fun. I probably put him in my top five. I'm not that I'm dead ass that serious. He's in my top five for Ultra Beast to use in Draft League. Like, I love using Stack. He is so goddamn broken. And he's pretty much brain dead too. Like you literally just run almost the same set every single week. Now I've seen some people done some more different diverse sets and like good defensive variations. Like something like Stealth Rock, Toxic, Protect, and then coverage move potentially, just have some versatility and to be able to kind of just do this and that. But I fucking love this Pokemon. It is a great ass Pokemon, and I am so excited to use this mod, dude. I am ready to use this Pokemon. I am very much so ready. I cannot believe I got this. Now, this was something I did consider for Terra. The Terra. I keep using Terra. This was something I really was debating on potentially Z. Now, here's the reason why I said that. Mostly because of this ability right here. Now, I think if there was any other Mon, it probably would have been a guaranteed Z target, but I think for Stack relies on the main. I won't lie. The main thing that Stack relies on is that it's berries. It needs its berries in order to be able to handle certain teams. And I will say I have been very creative with this Pokemon before. And I've got no issues being creative again with this Pokemon. This is a monster of a Mon, dude. I love Stack Attacker so freaking much. I am so looking forward to using this thing again. He is by far one of the Mons I was really wanting to use this gen. It's not the greatest steel type for us to use, but I don't care. It's a fun Mon. Now, getting into the fifth round, I'm looking at my draft and I'm like, damn, I'm gonna get shit on by ghost types. And you're gonna see the rest of our draft. I still get shit on by ghost types. Now, luckily, this was a gen where ghost types were not prominent. They were not the most scariest thing out there, and most of them kind of were a little bit more towards the bulky end. There was at least, in my opinion, two very scary ghost types in a format like there are three very there are three ghost types that I think are probably the scariest out there. One being Decidueye because of his active grass typing, being a little more versatility, and also with Spirit Shock will be able to trap you. It's kind of more of an annoying type of variant. And then Mega Banette because of the fact that Prankster and the fact that it could just people doesn't be annoying and he also hit insanely hard. By the way, Mega Banette was 1 point with his Chile. And yeah, I don't know what the heck they were thinking. That is the cheapest Mega I've ever seen in my entire life. Don't get me wrong, he's the second worst Mega in the game, but my God, I wouldn't price him at one. I would at least price him around 5 points. But I did go with a Pokemon that was a normal type, but you also see by my draft, I really don't like dealing with electrics, so I really need to get an electric resistance team. So I figured, why not have one that covers both my issues in hitting them below with my Diggersby though. We got my boy Diggersby here, and I'm really excited. Now I know we kind of semi just used it with the Gen 6 league that we did, but I don't care. This was honestly the best ground type that was left on the board. I know some people did, like were trying to maybe disagree because there was a good ground type still, but in my honest opinion, this was by far what, in terms of what was on the board, I genuinely think was the best ground type left. It gives us access to spikes along with the stealth rocks of Stakataka, which is really great. Which is really great. It's like if I need a fourth move and I don't really need anything else, I can just throw spikes on there and as spikes if I'm like willing to die and just get chip damage off or something. But Diggersby is so great, man. I love Diggersby so much. Such a super strong Pokemon, man. Very good mon. I'm really excited to use Diggersby again. We're not going to really talk too much on it, not really just do anything else really because we literally just used it a while back. But obviously getting access to return now, Diggersby's strongest normal type move is super good, man. I love that. Also have the priority and quick attack is also very good as well. It's overall just a very great mon, and it's just good and reliable normal and ground type Pokemon that everyone can just be able to use. It's just really good. Now going to round six, I for one need a poison type so that way we can get remove those T spikes. But I also saw that this was on the board, and I discussed about the three best ghost types probably in the Gen 7 format. Well, this was arguably the best ghost type. Now, obviously, there's things like Mimikyu, but I don't really care about Mimikyu in terms of a physical standpoint. As I kind of really don't care about that thing physically, offensively. I'm more scared of all the special ghost types, and even though special ghost type is not being hit. But this was arguably the best ghost type on the board, and it wasn't drafted. So I'm thinking to myself, if I draft this, I don't have to fear that ghost type. And so I thought to myself, you know what? Let me grab it. And I haven't used it in a very long time. Last time we used it, we did drop it, which I think you guys saw the season what we did do it with. Where we did drop it, and I didn't want to really drop it, but it kind of had to in terms of points, and plus I just wasn't enjoying it. It's our boy Danny Phantom, which I don't know why I did not make him shiny on here because he's going to be shiny because we have a shiny Ghastly. So anytime I catch a shiny in the games, I do make it a shiny when I build, even if it's an ugly shiny. Like if I caught Diggersby, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't like the Diggersby shiny. I know some people can mess with it. I just don't. I don't really like it. But yeah, Gengar. I felt like this was a very good pick. First off, they gave me that base 110. I needed some elite speed on my team, and I really needed to get some of that going in terms of make my draft. Because my draft at the current moment is only 100 across the board for 2 mons, and one of them could be less than 100 because we're going to make it bulky and they only have one that really takes advantage of its speed tier most of the time. So I really needed some more lead speed, which I kind of focused with these next two picks. So with my next pick as well. So, but Gengar, we all know what Gengar does. This is a super basic, straightforward mon that does anything and everything you wanted to do, man. Having hidden power isn't necessarily like instant, like oh we can win the game type of thing. Gengar necessarily doesn't need hidden power because it has the coverage it has. The only hidden power Gengar really takes advantage of using is only HP Ice. Even then, Icy Wind's still fine. Icy Wind can still do a lot of damage. Now, Gengar does not get access to T-Spikes and Nasty Plot like it does in I think Gen 8 and Gen 9, or is it just Gen 9? But overall, Gengar is still phenomenal, dudes. Gengar is one of the fastest Pokemon in the entire meta. It is also one of the strongest special attack role breakers in this meta as well. It's just overall a fantastic Pokemon, and I'm really excited to use this. And a fun fact for you guys, every time I have drafted a Gengar, I have never missed Focus Blast. Now that I said that, I'm going to miss a Focus Blast for the first time in 10 years with this Pokemon. And you know what? I'm accepting of it right now. But yeah, I love Gengar. It's really great to have it back, and also gave me again a ghost type for spin block, which is really good in case I want to set up a certain hazard later on in the game, and also being able to set up spikes and get those spikes damage off is really good as well. Now with my next pick, and you're kind of seeing a little bit of a cool contrast we here with my next two picks, but we'll discuss about that in a second. But with my next pick, I again wanted more elite speed, and I figured, you know what, there's gonna be someone that might take this if I don't take it, and I feel like I have to take it. So we went and grabbed Lucha Libre, the Halucha. And of course, I had to grab this thing, not only for the good 118 speed tier it has, but of course, for the Unburden ability. If I didn't pick this thing up, I know that the Coco team could have possibly taken this, and I did not want to deal with Coco Lucha. That core is disgusting. And obviously, with Lele being banned, there's one less terrain user. So I figured, you know what? Let's just draft Lucia before the Coco guy does. And arguably, I also really wanted to try Lucia. I have, I think, drafted Lucha one, no, maybe one time. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I've used Lucha a few times when I've taken over and I've had it on teams or even leagues before leagues die, and I drafted it potentially. But Lucha is very strong. I think a lot of people are underestimating the offense capability of Lucha here. And Lucha has that point where it can actually activate some burden and have an SD off. It literally is impossible to really break down this Pokemon and really stop it from doing much. This is a super strong Mon, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Lucha does for us this season. And I just felt like it was really good. Obviously, gave us another flying type, but it did give us that much needed dark typing as I was starting to lose to dark types on this draft as well, besides having my Victini. So I really liked that option. And you're going to see that we picked a very funny option and a really cool, unique way of doing things here. We got my boy Eboro, the Tapu Bulu. And surprisingly, I John of this pick, which I'm actually is funny, but also I'm not surprised because John, even though he probably doesn't like this thing, he does like what it offers to his team support when he grabs it. So, but he does do decently well with it. But anyways, El Boro here, my Tapu Bulu. I first off needed a grass type because I really need ground switchings for my team now, and I really needed another electric resist for this draft. But one thing that I liked about not only having the grassy terrain to weaken down earthquakes and force you to not bring it, now you have to think to yourself, is this Lucha gonna be Misty Seed for the Misty Surge, or am I going to be Grassy Seed for the Grassy Surge? I like the fact that I did this. I did this for two reasons. One, I really needed Bulu because of its typings. Also, I didn't really care going double fairy. I had, like, you look at my squad right now, like, look at my squad right now. I don't care about poison types whatsoever. I have ground, I have poison resist, I have a steel type of psychic. I'll have like poison I'm not scared of. Steel I'm also not that scared of because boom, a boom, a boom, a boom, and also I have like a couple more options. But I really didn't care about poison and steals. I think more than likely steals are to come more often than poisons versus my draft potentially. So steals will be a little concerning, but again, I'm not bringing all the weaknesses I have on my team. But Bulu as a Pokemon, I think Bulu as a Pokemon, first off, design wise, is fantastic. It's a great mod. It just sucks that he does have a somewhat shitty typing, and the fact that he will not freaking get player up to save his damn life to save his. Come on, man! Like his best way to hit fairy types, dark types, is break, focus punch, superpower, and just it really hurts, man. Bulu got done dirty, and Bulu is just he's underrated, man. I really wish if Bulu got player up, this mon would arguably be, and I kid you not, I arguably think this Pokemon will be near like 16, 17 points in drafts. Like the reason why I would willing to go that high with it is because you think about it, right? Grass Fairy dual typing is very hard to switch into a lot of the time. There's only one typing that can. There's actually two typings that would switch into both, and that is Poison and Steel, which you can counteract with very well. But overall, this Pokemon, it's very good. It does have what its uses. It unfortunately does have a shitty typing, but we can make West that typing, and I do think for what it's going to offer to this draft, I think it was good. Now I did almost pick Celebi for this draft, and I almost picked Breloom. Now, obviously, I went Hawlucha, which is the reason why I didn't go Breloom. The reason why I almost went Celebi. Celebi was a Pokemon that I actually could have taken advantage of its bulk really, really well, and I actually could have used its versatility a lot. But what ultimately made me not go with Celebi and go with Tor with my Alboro here, my Tapu Bulu, Celebi added that ghost weakness, and you're gonna see that I'm going to have really only like two answers to ghost types on my team. And having your team generically weak to ghost is just not as good. So I ultimately went with a mon that actually would help me better in the long run, and I think also helps my team better. So felt like it was right. And then with our three, four, five, six, seven, eight. With our ninth pick, which was we saw here, I think it's not Gen 7 if I don't draft my mascot. Like, come on, man. You guys I know have secretly been wanting me to draft my mascot for the longest time. And I drafted it. I drafted my son, my boy Jolteon. Also, Halucha was also one of the other Z captain options I actually had, and even thinking of a consideration for El Toro and Gengar, but just didn't do that. But Jolteon, my boy, he got Signal Beam back, so now he can hit grass types. But more importantly, he got his signature hidden power back. Where is it at? Right here. He got it back, baby. I'm actually so happy to use Jolteon, man. It's been a decent bit since I've last used him. And honest to God, I love this Pokemon. And I not only do I love this Pokemon because he is my mascot, he's the team logo for a reason. It's just that he's a strong mon, and more importantly, he ended up giving us more elite speed, which was more important. Now, yes, people can easily run Choice Scarf to outpace this thing, but outside of the Choice Scarf users, Jolteon's speed is unmatched unless you have a little Electrode. So, or certain Megas. But I absolutely love Jolteon so much, and I'm so happy to finally use it again for the longest time. And I'm really hoping we do really well with my boy here. I'm really, really hoping. With our 10th pick, I was really debating on what I wanted because I want you guys to know. Once I saw the tier list, I saw one mega that was priced a certain way, and I was like, that is wrong. And after Mega Gallade and Megazord got taken up, I had pretty much made my mind set that this was going to be my mega, and I knew no one was going to grab this. Mostly because everyone started grabbing their megas. There was, I think, only two people, maybe three possibly, that were getting on the boards and they weren't grabbing their megas potentially. I don't remember who the person that grabbed Mega Chomp. I don't remember the top of my head, but the other two people I believe were Kuma and Star. Kuma eventually picked up Mega Sableye, which I was like, but when it came down to this final round in round 10, around round, well, actually it was around 9 technically, but round 9, 10, I'm looking at Stars, I looked at Stars draft and like, oh my god, he doesn't have a Dark type yet, and he's got the points technically to grab it. Is he going to take my Mega? And it was a 50-50 because there's, I believe, two Dark type Megas left on the board, which was Mega Gyarados, which surprised me Mega Gyarados lasted as long as it did, by the way. I think that's a top 10 best Megas in this format. Um, and thankfully, Star didn't take it. But now that left me with pretty much 8 points to pick whatever I really wanted, because I already mapped out my points near the end. And I didn't know what I really wanted. But what I ended up going for, since I kind of have good enough electric resist and electric immunities on my team, I kind of didn't mind picking up a secondary water to pair with Tapu Fini. But not only did it pair off as a secondary water, it helped gave us a decent fire resist, but more importantly, it gave us a ground switch in which I desperately need. Did make my team a little bit more rock weak in terms of rocks, but it's perfectly fine. But we picked up Spooterbug, our Araquanid, and Araquanid is a super strong mon. This mon can really do well, and more importantly, this gave us sticky webs. Now, I think this is a draft where you really need to confine. I would have actually grabbed a Vikavolt over Jolteon, but I forgot D-Ray had already scooped up Vikavolt, even though he already has Zero Aura. Don't know why he picked up two electric types. Don't ask me. Ask D-Ray. He's got a fun mind that goes there. But I'm just kidding. I love D-Ray. He's great. But I felt like Arachnid was good. And I don't think I've ever had a full season of using this thing potentially. I think I've started using it and then I drop it because of this and that. But I want to give Arachnid a real shot here. I think Arachnid can do really well here for us. I think it's really good. If we could run to a team that really kind of has a hard time trying to remove hazards, I think it's really good to have this Pokemon and be able to have a Sticky Whip support. Another good special defensive Mon as well. They can also play physically defensive as well. Overall, very good Mon here, and I think it's really good. Now with our final pick, and I kid you not when I say this, I arguably still state to this day, even though Mega Banette you could argue is the biggest steal, this, in my opinion, is by far the biggest steal of the draft. Like, this is a Pokemon that is, in my opinion, should be argued for at least 10 points. Because I do not think it's as bad as everyone says it is. It is not as weak as everyone says it is. For 3 points, count them, 1, 2, 3, 3 points, that was put in the same tier as Mega Ampharos, which don't get me wrong, I love Fabio, but these two are nowhere near on the same tier. For my final pick, I picked Mega Absol. Now we're gonna name this after my good friend Bloody, because Bloody's mascot is Absol, and I figured, you know what, I gotta name it after my boy. I want you all to tell me, does base 150 attack with options to Sucker Punch, to options with Pursuit Trapping, which Pursuit is now a trap move back in this game. You're going to tell me, also with base 150 attack, a very usable special stat, and base 115 team with Magic Bounce on first turn Mega, which is something I didn't say. We are forced to do first turn Megas. You're going to tell me, you are going to tell me that this Pokemon is not good. You're going to tell me this Pokemon is weak. You're going to tell me this Pokemon is bad? I highly disagree. Now, is it the best Mega? No. Is it a top 10 Mega? I will be willing to say no. But is it a good Mega and should be a respected Mega? Absolutely. And I am hoping and I am praying I'm going to put some respect on this Pokemon's name, and I am going to put the respect it deserves into the coaches that thought, you know what, 3 points was a fair price. And then after the season, when we win our championship, we'll be like, wow, we gave him a free Mega and we lost the league because of it. Wow, we're dumb. So I'm really excited for Mega Absol, dude. I haven't used this thing in forever. I mean, I haven't used Megas in general forever. And like I said, I love Mega Absol, but I would have rather my other two main choices for my Megas. But you know what? Maybe the stars aligned for this right now. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go back and recap the team real quick here. But as we do, of course, I gotta let you guys know that thank you so much for watching. Like I said, this was gonna be a little bit of a long draft analysis because I wanted to go a little bit in depth with my picks, go a little in depth with the story behind, how this is gonna be a really special league for us here, and more importantly, just discuss some of the mons that we have used before, mons I haven't used, and stuff like that. But yes, I am super excited. This is gonna be I think it's gonna be either a 7 or 8 week season. I think it's gonna be 8 weeks if I remember off the top of my head potentially. So we do have plenty of chances to make the playoffs. We have plenty of chances to have some good games. We got people like Star, John, D Ray, just to name some of the all stars we have here. We have SJ as well. I'm telling John right now, if you're watching this video, before you rig the schedules, you better freaking rig it so I face D Ray. Me and D Ray deserve our brotherly battle. I know I have a shit matchup versus him, but I want D Ray. Give me D Ray in my schedule. Because I want to fight the man. This is going to be like our fifth or sixth time being in the same league, and we're not going to be put together. I want to fight my man. Have a good brotherly battle. Give me it, please. Anyways, rant aside. I'm looking forward to having a fun season with everyone. I'm hoping to do really well this season, and I'm just hoping just for good times, man. I'm really excited. Again, 10 years, man. 10 years coming back here all around, and I'm super excited. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, I will see you all for week 1. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Peace.